We got Pacific Coast Highway on one side. We got the ocean, well, the Pacific on the other. We're gonna go.
We're gonna do
crazy. I know.
We're doing a forensics analysis of the yesterday's podcast.
I suppose. I mean, it was today's as far as we're recording on the same day that we did Nolan's podcast. Nolan, our first guest, who was on the last episode.
And is going to be on this episode.
Yeah.
Because we're doing a little experiment in breaking up the, keeping the, kind of trying to keep the hour and a half length on our podcast. So we should turn back in about 20 minutes. So at 1:20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, I got to start the map.
Yes.
If I didn't already, maybe I did. We've started the workout. Sean is getting ready to dip his feet in the water.
This is all I wanted to do since I knew we were coming here today. I left my plastic bag to protect the... That was a good wave. Got me good. That wave got me real good. Yeah, Barney. Oh, he wants to just lay in the cool sand. Be careful. Ooh. Oh, man. I mean, like, literally at that moment, the only thing I cared about was the fucking microphone, the recorder.
No, Sean.
Yes.
Before I forget. Well, no, we'll do this later. We got to get into this shit.
Get into it. So we're going to do a little bit of a forensics analysis of our first interview to see what we can learn from it.
Yeah, we're walking along the beach. This is the first time I've been to the beach. I mean, really, I feel like I'm breaking the law. I'm on the beach in the COVID times, but my mask is up. I'm going to keep my distance. And, oh, man, it's great to see the ocean.
Right?
And all these paw prints.
Uh-oh. Be careful, Barney.
We got dogs being dogs. We got people being people.
Does he like the water? Yeah. Barney's a little neutral on it. He could do okay in the water. It's all right, buddy.
So
always gotta have
what do you think of our walk with Nolan?
I had a great time, but of course I was catching up with an old friend who's been in complete lockdown, 100% lockdown since Malibu Fig Ranch. We gotta try to stop by there on our way home. See if there's we can get some unique produce. But yeah, he's I think he's an interesting guy. Spent 3 years working at Dronebox, whatever that means. I had my Atheist Televangelist show. I volunteered and did stand-ups and open mics, and it was all this kind of beautiful. There's all this beautiful free labor / free studio space that you've been on there a couple times, right?
Yeah, I've been in there.
The High Tonight show, right?
That's right. Yeah, season 1. No, but in terms of the Mind Walk,
yeah.
I mean, this was our first guest.
Yeah,
so
it was delightful.
What was the flow? The flow was very different, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't it be? We've got
another
person, a fourth person.
Mind. Yeah, a fourth mind.
A fourth Mind Walker.
It was. I liked it. I mean, as much as I, still believe that you're better than a podcast, you plus other people is even better than a podcast. Even better than a podcast. So it's like we got to do our pretty traditional shticks, singing our songs, having philosophical tributaries, but then with a third person, kind of their opinions and ideas. and a little bit of their cantankerousness.
I would have liked a little more philosophical tributarying.
Yeah,
myself.
I think I was probably in the catching up mode too much for that to happen.
But that's just how it's going to be. We have a particular dynamic.
Yeah.
And when we bring other people on, they may mesh with that dynamic to a certain extent, or they may highlight a different part of that dynamic.
Yeah, I think the other thing that I was thinking about is that as we were kind of a little bit talking in the car, so I should just bring it up now because that was also one of our reasons to get out here on the beach, besides the fucking being on the beach in Southern California in summer on a beautiful, one of the hottest days in the world right now. Death Valley, reached 130 degrees 2 days ago, and we are enjoying the Pacific Ocean at the moment. Besides all that, it's like one of the things that we talked about was that what is gonna be our, let's say, our format for our guests. And one of the things I was thinking is, like, if it's a person that I know, or whoever knows the person should maybe introduce them to the other person. Oh, Nolan, this is Michael. We do this podcast. You're on mic right now. Here it is. I'm going to let Michael take over for a little bit to get to know you. I think that might be a good way to go. So then a dynamic is built early on.
Right, and it lays down a bit of, here are possible subject matters, points of interest that, they can, if you say 3 or 4 things about me, they can latch on to whichever one is interesting to them.
Hello.
But yeah, I kind of felt a bit like a third wheel, and I felt like I was in producer mode.
Yeah.
I felt like you guys were talking, and I was kind of trying to,
make it entertaining.
Make sure that we were promoting the social media, and when we started, you started doing the recording, and then you didn't say speeding, which was weird to me.
Yeah.
Like, you always say speeding when you're speeding. And then it was like, Sean, why didn't you say speeding? Why didn't you say speeding?
Oh, I think because I was nervous. Because I was a little bit like, oh, this is something different. It's like we're letting somebody into our clubhouse. It's not just me and you and Barney having our secret love affair on mic out in the wild.
So it wasn't because you didn't think that you shouldn't for some reason. It was just because you were distracted?
Distracted, kind of thinking about the extra mic, thinking about this third dynamic. Also, I think what happened in my head is I wanted to kind of make sure that, let's say Nolan was taken care of, and I just automatically just turned mine on to forget about having to turn mine on. It's like, that's off the list. Moving on. Now I can, focus on Nolan if I need to. So I think it was a little bit of that. I was in work mode.
Well, I guess, I also felt like there was pressure, not necessarily bad pressure, but to feature the guest, because the guest isn't always there.
Yeah.
So it kind of takes...
So far, so good. It's a beautiful day. I know. Right? What else could this is perfect.
So it kind of, in a way, it how would I put this? You know how when we're trying to do the mind walk, we're in a way trying to, we can talk about being on the podcast and reference that we're on a podcast, like we're doing right now, explicitly, but we kind of want to have an honest conversation, like a free conversation, right?
Yeah.
So having the guest on really put me in the mode of okay, we're on a mic, we're doing a podcast.
Yeah, no,
and so I didn't really feel as free to jump in the conversation in all the ways I may have wanted to, or when you and him were talking, because look, I talk a lot, but I feel like you will just you'll keep going, and very excitedly, and that's a huge asset. But then because I think you had this relationship with Nolan and you were catching up, when I saw how much you guys were just going with each other, I was like, well, I might as well just take a step back and let this thing breathe and be whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I don't need to intrude on that, but then I also kind of felt like, well, what am I adding to this?
Yeah.
right? And then sometimes I would jump in with a topic, and it would get like one comment from you, one comment from him, and then it was like kind of dropped. And I mentioned this before, I get insecure when things I bring up don't become larger subjects of conversation. So I just sort of felt very ancillary.
Yeah, it's a tough one because I think that if trying to go for something wholly organic, however we want to characterize it, attempting to create a situation that is like that feels unproduced.
Right.
It's like and obviously this is our creation. We can do whatever the fuck we want with it. And in a weird way, inviting somebody on to we're going to go this way. Okay, yeah, I see the line. He's holding the line. Okay. On some levels, when we invite a guest, it's like they're now in this mode of determining the direction of the mind walk. We give them a lot of power.
Yeah, well, we have to surrender the power if they're going to be featured as a guest, right?
Yeah.
But that's the other thing, like, do we even have to how much do we really have to try to feature them as a guest? Now, I feel like as a host, and I mean this not just in the podcast sense, we're hosting them to an event of our creation, right?
Yeah.
And so it's polite to want to engage them, right?
Yeah, that's the whole point.
But I might be, doing that a little bit more.
Like forcing it a little bit.
Well, there were a couple of times where I wanted to ask Nolan some questions because I wanted to cover some other topics. Because like drugs was talked about a lot, and then porn and sex was talked about a lot, and I was just like, oh great, this is one of Sean's buddies is just going to be talking about porn and drugs the whole time. It's like, okay, that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, his identity is built on porn and drugs, kind of.
Well, I mean, that's that's why you guys get along, perhaps.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
And it's not that those things are, well, it's funny because I think part of the reason I was, like a little bit annoyed, digging back now a little bit further, when you texted me and said that you had booked him, right? And then I was like, oh, what's he up to? And you mentioned that he was in porn. And that was like the day after, I think, that we recorded the episode in which you talked about your
experience with
your consumption, your consumption of how would you put it? I'll let you put it. However you want to put it.
I mean, it's like, how would you put it if you're going to go get a massage?
I don't know.
Yeah, you went to the spa. Somebody gave you a spa service. Somebody gave my cock a spa service.
So it was after that.
Yeah.
And I was kind of suddenly like, again, these are not rational thoughts. I'm not claiming these are high-minded analysis here. I'm just saying I was like, oh no, is this podcast just going to become like the fucking seedy underworld sex porn podcast? And that's just what it's going to be all the time? I was like, I don't want it to be that all the time.
All the time. No, but let me ask you, I want to go off on a little tributary here. Now, let's say if creating the sex and drug podcast put you in affiliation with a lot more sexually available females that you were attracted to, that had the body type that you were into, and having that podcast got you a lot more activity with those people, wouldn't that be a bit of a benefit?
Well, all you're really asking me is, well, what if it's the thing that people want to hear? That's all you're really asking.
I'm saying, what if it gets you laid?
Well, no, but that's to me the same thing.
Oh,
what if this is the thing that makes us popular? What if this is the thing that gets us?
I see. I guess the way what I was trying to phrase is that if let's say, because Nolan suggested we get a porn star, kind of.
Well, yeah, I mean that sounds great.
Yeah, right.
I just don't want it to be the whole thing.
No, I don't think it could ever. I mean,
and so just in that, I just didn't know because you had kind of booked him, and I felt like, oh, I wasn't in control. Oh no. I was like, oh, if Sean is left to his own devices, like this is what it's going to become, was sort of my irrational thoughts. And I was like, oh no, I don't want it to be like that.
I've already pitched you my fragrance friend,
Oh, I know.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's like...
Yeah, you have. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, so it's just like, it just happens to be, part of it happened to be because Nolan's going back through Dronebox and putting up a lot of clips, and he featured that crying clip. He was kind of on my mind. I also, like, a little bit of my intuition was that he was being pretty strict about the quarantine.
Right,
and that
we need to bring him out.
Yeah, this would be a perfect opportunity to fucking help him.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I tried to pick his brain a little bit about that and be like, how is it like being out here on the hike? Because we talk so much about how great it is to be on a hike, and we encourage our listeners to go on hikes. So I really wanted to kind of get a testimonial out of him, but like, how good is it to be out here, you know?
And I think he gave us that, like, this is what I do. He was like, I walked 8 miles down fucking Franklin Sunset Boulevard.
Well, before the pandemic.
Yeah.
He was saying.
Yeah.
And then he got stopped walking after the pandemic, so now we're bringing him back out again.
Yeah.
You know, so I definitely wanted that. I liked that.
Oh, yeah. And that was, to me, like, the healing aspect, let's say, of what I would like to do with the podcast. Hey, if I can heal my way through pussy, I'm going to give it a try, for sure. But to answer your question, though. What if it got me laid? Yeah.
I would love to get laid, but it's not enough for me to say, if the question is, what if we made the whole podcast a sex and drugs podcast?
Oh, I see.
Is it worth it to get laid for that? I would say no.
Oh, interesting.
Absolutely not. I don't want to commit 7.5 hours of my time talking with you, production, editing, uploading, all because I got laid from it. Yeah, it's like, what, I feel like a fucking sucker. Like, I have artistic impulses that I want to do. I want to explore. I want to talk about all kinds of things.
Well, I'll say though I would say, like, getting.
Besides,
you gotta get him on the leash.
No, there's not a lot of beach at all for all of LA County.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's.
You're okay up on top. That's
okay.
all good. Or if you own a house, your friend's been owning, you can be in front of the house. That's all good.
Okay, good.
Or if you want to go up to Leo Carrillo, that's the only dog legal beach that there is in LA County in this area. So,
okay, yeah.
So top houses are Leo, and otherwise you're facing a $250 nasty ticket.
Thank you very much. Thank you also for approaching it so gently. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, see?
all right.
Look at that.
So shall we go up?
Well, yeah.
I mean, sadly,
we can go up here. And then what I was thinking is we go up here, then we go down at the houses, and then just walk in front of the houses. And just say we're at a friend's house. Oh, well, you know what? I'm not even going to put him on the leash until we get to the top. Because he's already... Come on, bud. Yeah, that was like a fucking undercover lifeguard. I didn't even see him until he was standing right there.
we were deep in conversation.
That too, but I was kind of keeping my eye out for I guess this one. I was kind of keeping my eye out for lifeguard stations and stuff like that.
All right, well, let's get...
I think this one.
Good as any.
Hey, okay, just chill.
Climbing up out of the beach.
Okay, hold on. Barney. Stay right there. Right here's good. And I will carry you for a little while, buddy.
Ugh.
So yeah, the exclusiveness of sex and drugs.
But anyway, I know that's not really going to happen.
No.
So it's not a big deal. But because you guys had such an affinity on that subject, I just kind of felt like, okay, that's what this is. That's what this podcast is going to be about, which is fine. But it was also about a little bit of politics, but it was also about him giving advice.
Yeah.
Because we asked for some advice. And I don't remember if this is going to be part of yesterday's podcast or part of the remainder of the episode or even split between the two. But let's go over some of the thoughts that he gave us, right? 1, press releases.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Do a press release saying we're releasing this podcast. Why not? See who
here's
picks it
what
up.
it is.
You know, make it sound important. Make ourselves sound important.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me. He says, don't oversaturate them with
too many releases.
and don't send them trivial things. But there's a part of me that's like, oh, I just want to inundate them with trivial things. Oh, these guys keep sending us press releases about really trivial things. And it keeps coming and it keeps coming and it becomes like its own phenomenon. Well, I mean, but that's me just trying to overpower them with my own absurdism about the press release.
Yeah.
It's not as much about actually trying to have a successful marketing strategy as it is me trying to like do something kind of fucked up with the system, you know?
Yeah, oh, for sure. I also think that I think we should do a press release about Nolan, not about porn Jesus, and just be like, how's it going? And be like, we should turn.
We got Nolan to come out of his house. Press release, big release.
No, but he was the former creative lead of Dronebox.
Yeah.
They've got he still has a presence. People are still aware of that, you know, and he's trying to get kind of stuff around that. We should head back.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to put him on the leash. Even though that'll make us both sad, I know, Barney. We were on the beach. It was beautiful. Maybe once we get by the lifeguard, we can go back down again. Yeah, I think we should do a press release about Nolan being on the podcast.
Okay.
And just link whatever press release we do to that episode or this episode. And, you know, and then that way... That's the setup. He's got his office on the beach. Oh. Come on. Come on. Just come on.
So then, what else did he have? Oh, he said his biggest piece of advice was don't do unedited content. Bum, bum, bum.
But the truth is, our content is edited. It is not without format and shape, and it does go through an editorial process. It's just not the extreme editorial Adderall fucking bringing out all the ums and uhs and, you know, just like...
Well, he talked about that. He talked about breathing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, look, these podcasts edit out all the breathing. And I heard that and I was like, oh, God, no, I don't want to go down that road.
No.
If that's what it takes to succeed as a podcast, then, I mean, it's totally antithetical to what we're doing because we want to hear the breathing of us going on a hike.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we want to hear these stupid fucking sounds of the traffic that I hate. All next to the beach, next to the ocean, and how they kind of sound similar, even though one is very pleasing to me and one is in the uncanny valley of almost sounding like an ocean, but not quite, which pisses me off.
Yeah. So I don't see I'm looking for our lifeguard. I want to go down after we pass him.
Oh, of course you do.
Just because this is so hard to walk on.
That's not why you want to go. You want to go down because you want to break the rule.
No, because I want to be next to the water. I don't care about the rule. Originally I was like, I'll leave Barney in the car. You know, I just really want to be in the water, near the water. We're so close. It's tantalizing.
I know. But stay with me here, Sean.
Yeah, no, for sure. Oh, there it is. That's why I missed it.
So yeah, we want to leave all that stuff in.
Yeah.
So he was a little bit, his position was that's not a good idea. And he even said like that he spent 4 years of his life doing just that and it got him nowhere.
Yeah.
Almost as like a cautionary tale, like, oh, well, we shouldn't do that. And yet I remain unconvinced.
Yeah, I remain unconvinced. And also, like, I would say... what about 12 miles that way?
Yeah, 12, 15 miles that way. We'll come down in here, we'll see a big rock in the bay, and there's a sign that says Rio, and then the guy
Okay, on the north side, or
East side, it's okay. The stairs are not marked, so you have to go to the end of the guardrail.
okay.
Guardrail starts, up the wall, that's where the stairs are.
Okay. Thank you so
lifeguard
much.
still
Fuck
talking.
yeah.
Hey.
Fuck yeah. By the way, this is where I wanted to eat. It's basically Malibu seafood. It's a very famous. So what are you thinking? I'm going to pitch this on Mike right now about doing another mind walk at Leo Carrillo.
Sure, well, of course.
Okay. Yes.
I mean, why not? Go
I'm
everywhere.
glad-
Go anywhere.
I'm glad I cleared my calendar today. I was like, we're going to be out here. Let's fucking squeeze as much content out of this shit as we can.
I mean, what were you talking about, like right now?
Yeah.
Oh, right now, like after we eat.
Yeah, go get some food and then go up to Leo Carrillo and record another podcast.
I'll check my calendar.
Yeah, great.
I think so.
Great. I mean, I didn't mean to put the pressure on you while we're on mic. We can edit this out though if you want.
No, it's okay.
to.
It's fine.
No, but I also think that he was too soon for this moment that we're in right now. He was doing a thing that, except for the fact that all these weirdos were breathing each other's air inside of a fucking former theater/church in Boyle Heights. Except for that aspect, the idea of having content that just could be created on the fly 10 hours a day that would lend itself so much to the current moment. You know, let's say if he had this setup and then he could do COVID screenings, you know, he'd have his crew in there and then do COVID screenings on the way in, and then everybody could shoot their hour of fucking whatever they're doing and then fucking leave. It'd be pretty fantastic. So I think that there's a little bit of sour grapes having been the guy that did that. You know, and it was both him and his brother at first, and this lady friend, and then it ended up just all being on Nolan's shoulders at a certain point. And I feel like that was a little bit unfair, but he was the one that had the passion and the ability to do it. So, but when you've got a one-man band like that, and we don't have that, it lends itself to not wanting to
Man, if I were a one-man band, then I would think, I'd be even more enticed to not edit. But like you said, we do some editing, but what we don't do is cutting.
Yeah, we don't do any cutting. No, but what I'm saying about that is, since he was the one-man band,
I got to be honest. We occasionally cut a very, very small amount for some very particular reason, but we're like 99.5% uncut. Maybe even more.
Yeah.
99.8% uncut.
Now, we
stayed the hand of the mohel just as he was going in to make the cut.
We're like, no.
We just pulled it back, but he just got like the tiniest fraction
tiniest cut that
of the foreskin.
That future lovers will be like, oh, what's this interesting scar on your foreskin?
We can only hope. Okay, so you're saying he had some trubs with his brubs?
He trubs with his brubs. I'm also saying like he has trauma around having an unedited podcast.
Right.
Or, I mean, content, TV show. You know, he created 2,000 hours of fucking content. Like, are we going to ever fucking beat Dronebox?
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
If you want.
Yeah, I think so.
So then there was a moment where I asked him a question, unsurprisingly, about goat versus fish, which brought my ego into it. But it was because he had brought it up when I feel like even that first 10 minutes when he showed up, like next time with a guest, I want to mic him like as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Because that introduction of like, oh, I haven't seen you, oh, it's been great, like that stuff should be on the fucking
For sure,
mic.
absolutely. You know, I think we you know, it's almost as if I should just have the mic rolling as I put it on them.
Well, maybe we start it in the car for ourselves.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like we're
and
ready.
And then we get him, and like I just think as a matter of procedure, it's like get the guest on the mic, even before the greetings.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can be perfunctory and be polite, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, get it fast, so then all that stuff comes out.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
So he had brought up a story about encountering goat versus fish, but I wanted to save it for the podcast.
Well, I don't want to go on the street side.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. Da.
Come on.
Actually, I like your way better.
Yeah.
It's more steppy.
Let's go, bud. This is kind of what I was like, not necessarily just to break the rules, but it's like there was a certain ease in being able to, be on the beach rather than picking through the...
Absolutely, and it gets us further away from the traffic.
Yeah, and ultimately, if somebody needs to issue us a ticket, if he's got his ticket book in there and feels the need to issue it, I'll either accept it, I'll take it and be like, it was worth it to make this, to come out here, or try to justify my position of like, look, walking on the street there is extremely dangerous. Would you want to put me and my dog and my friend
right
in danger, or do we just have to strictly abide by the no dog rules because one time a fucking city council member stepped in dog poop on the beach? He's like, never again! I hate dogs on the beach. What is the reason? I mean, it's probably a lot of like people getting bit because dogs are off leashes, and there was like if there's a place where people could bring dogs, unmonitored, there's a lot of trouble. So it becomes a little.
So I asked him again also about what about making your own clips, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, no way! The internet." He had the Reddit mindset.
Oh yeah,
like you can't even make your own clips. You have to let the community do that. He had a very succinct statement on that, which I want to
parse out.
Parse it. Well, yeah, I want to parse it out of the recording. It was basically like the internet is a democratic place, and therefore that which is successful on the internet must be,
it's a lure.
Must be brought about by sort of democratic means, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm my own whore for wanting to just promote myself.
Yeah.
And also, I've seen a lot of Twitch streamers, and also, the deep fat fried guys. They live stream a lot, and then yes, they make clips. They make clips out of their live stream, and they put up the clips. So, granted, they have an audience already, but to me, it just doesn't seem like something that is so. Like, in this day and age, it doesn't seem like that is so antithetical to, like, I don't know, it doesn't seem like it would be a problem. I mean, you don't want to oversaturate your content. You have to select what you want to put out. But it almost made it sound like, if you do that, then I felt like it was a little deeper than that with him. I felt like there was almost a morality to his position on that.
You're eating your own dog food. And there's it's a double-edged sword on that. On that, like sometimes there's the idea of like, we're eating our own dog food because we think our product is that good. We really enjoy what we do.
Well, but shouldn't we enjoy what we do? Shouldn't we like what we do?
But I also think you need to get and what I'd say is like, I think there needs to be a more nuanced view of.
Are we up there?
I don't know where we're at. I don't remember this.
I remember that house, so we're getting close. Oh, yeah. We went through these rocks.
Yeah, we did.
We went through these rocks. I don't know if I want to do that anyway, because it would require more editing. It was just a bit of a weird contradiction to me that it's like, okay, you need to edit it. It's like, okay, well, we want to release this unedited thing. But what if we did edit it a little bit?
He just told us, we're just getting back up to the car. We're going to get out of here.
What if we did edit out some of the portions, and what if we released that content in addition to our unedited content? Wouldn't that be like almost the best of both worlds? But he, I guess, thinks that whatever editing to make the product has to be like you get one shot to release it as a product, and then you can't parse it out and release other parts of it later. Like that's verboten. To me, the lines seem a little bit arbitrary.
Yeah, I think it's like I think he just has a distaste around people jerking themselves off. You know, and I get that. It's almost like you have to be popular enough that other people will jerk yourself off.
Well, of course you want to get there.
No, but then also be like, oh, and then you like jerking us off this way, but also have you thought about jerking it to this? You know, like it's like we're adding, once the audience tells us what it wants and what it likes, then we can feed that back to them.
Yeah.
I think that's the kind of the best process there.
All right, well, let's
You want to go up there?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, while we're out in the boot, I may need to buy a new pair of flippity floppities.
Oh, this day is just getting longer and longer. But hey, before you do, can you pick up Barney?
Sure. Come here, bud. Oh, look at that. Look at that wet dog.
And let's just get a mind walk with the ocean in the background. I mean, come on, right?
Look at that wet dog.
All right.
Oh, Bernie's a wet dog.
All right, I'll pull down my mask briefly.
Disease.
And now my mic is going to be all scrunched up, but who cares? All right, let's look in there. Ready, Sean?
Oh, Barney wants the water from my mouth. He wants some mouth water.
Ready?
Mind walk!
Sweet.
So sweet. We could just make this our job. This would be the sweetest job on the planet.
And there was a part where I asked Nolan a question, and I felt like you kind of derailed it.
Yeah, but again, what I said in the car is I was like trying to give your character even more mystique.
Right.
I was trying to say that he was in a trance-like state that the saints go into.
I mean, really, I should just be flattered whenever anyone is talking excitedly about something I do, right?
Yeah.
Look at this. I don't like when people talk about me. I don't like when people don't talk about me.
you.
I'm a very difficult person, Sean. I'm a very difficult person. I appreciate your patience with me. I'm always like, oh, I don't want it like that and this like that. I just feel like, I don't know, there's a part of me, it's like, I feel like I have to express it to be honest with myself, and then once it's out there,
then you can adjust.
I can
there's an adjustment after that.
Yeah.
I get it. Because I think that's how good, like it sounds like, especially with your sister, you had to learn how to set very good boundaries, you know? And as a result, that kind of constant checking the border.
Yeah.
Constantly, we got a border, we got to keep checking this border. It becomes a little bit of a habit. And I've been accused of being a little bit porous myself. I have some pretty porous borders.
Indeed.
Oh shit. Here, I'm gonna.
It's what makes us the yin and the yang of the mind walk, and Barney being whatever the unity of those things are, I guess.
Be careful, bud. I've heard it described as prickly and goo. Whew. Good catch.
I had to.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like it's a tricky little dirty.
All right, if you could go up before me, and then I'll pass Barney off to you.
Yep.
So I don't have to take him on this step.
Come on, bud.
The Barney transfer?
No, just set him down. He'll come over to me. Oh, come here, buddy. You're the precious cargo. Did you see how I fucking white guyed that white guy? I spoke his secret language.
No.
The beach cop.
Oh, the second one?
Yeah, the second beach cop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I cast a spell on him. These are not the dogs you're looking for. And again, like...
Well, only once you convinced him that you're going to ultimately be compliant.
Sure. But even if I'm just convincing him in that moment that I'm going to ultimately be compliant and I'm not, you know, it's enough to fucking deflect for the moment. But, you know, I'll just say, that's the way to talk to cops. That is exactly the way. Oh, I see where you're coming from, sir. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah.
But for all of my little wanting to talk about the problems, I think it was a successful mind walk. I think it was a great hike.
Oh, yeah.
And it was great that we had a guest who knew his way around the technology, and we were able to do it and go and produce it, and like we didn't have any major snags or anything. We just went and did it. Now we have the audio. Now we can make it a podcast. Now we can put it out.
Yeah.
It was really quite easy.
Quite easy. And like he had to, but he got to operate his own Tascam that we gave him. And I just forgot all my responsibilities. Oh, fucking God damn it.
Sean, sometimes when we're on the mine walks, you know what it sometimes feels like? It sometimes feels like this is the Sean podcast and I'm just like a color commentator.
I mean, I get that feeling too. Not just the Sean side, but also the Michael side.
Oh, that the reverse of that? Yeah. But then this time, because I think Nolan you guys had such a strong connection, I felt like extra like that.
Well,
but that's not necessarily a bad thing, though.
Sure.
That's not necessarily a bad thing at all. If me being rigid helps give you the freedom to talk to him more openly, then that's great, right?
Yeah. Oh, I think, but I'd also say, like, if you are feeling that way, maybe it's will inspire you to book the next guest.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if it certainly has in part to do with who's booking the guests. I guess you start with people that you know, right? Isn't it funny how when we were at your place, when we started talking about the podcast with Dan's friends, that they were like a bit like, they were sort of mocking us for the podcast, and then by the end of the day,
wanted to be on it.
They were all like, I want to be on your podcast. And Sean, let us take a moment right now, as we tell people to subscribe, as we tell people to follow us on Mindwalk Pod. Guess what, guys? We have our first patron. Breaking news.
Woo!
We have our first patron on the Patreon.
By the way, thank you, Jordan. We're thanking our patrons specifically. Yes, thank you, Jordan.
Thank you for being a trail angel.
Yeah.
And that $5 a month is going to entitle you to 3 episodes of Mindwalk every week.
Yeah, every week.
Plus the pictures and videos.
Yeah.
And if you want to be a trail angel like Jordan, and get our praise and sing songs of your hero-dom, and support a couple of guys walking on the beach,
trying to make their dream happen,
trying to make love happen.
We're having our platonic romance.
Then become a patron yourself, and then we'll have 2 patrons. But I wanted to celebrate that success, Sean. We did it, and so you too become a patron on Mindwalk. There's a $1.99 tier, a $5 tier, or a $10 tier. So now I guess what you're gonna hear, listeners,
is the end of Nolan's interview. We did two 45-minute sections, and then we have we don't know how long it is, 35-40-minute section. That's the end of his interview. So this has been a 45-minute intro to the cliffhanger of the interview with Nolan Silverstein.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what our listener thinks of this podcast. There was a lot of noise from the cars, a lot of noise from the beach, pleasant as it was.
Yeah.
And it's it's the most Mindwalk podcast about Mindwalk. We're
just eating our own dog food.
So, is that something anyone even gives a fuck about? We don't know, but we're putting it out there for you to listen to anyway.
This is part of the experiment. So thank you for tuning into
Mind Walk. Enjoy the rest of the Nolan episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Mind Walk.
Here, let me get the. Do you have a little water there, Nolan?
I've got water.
Okay, great.
What can I pour it in?
In here.
Okay.
Just a sec, bud.
Barney.
Tummy.
More?
Yeah, a little bit. Here, right here. Right here. Get it? Come on. Oh well, you know what you're gonna get? Oh yeah. Fucking cool you down then if you're not gonna drink. Thank you.
Yeah. Trying to think of other things that could help you with marketing or content.
Press release. I mean, you were big into stickers.
Yeah, but the world's different now.
Okay. Because it's really about leaving a digital mark.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I have to be honest. For me, it all starts with content, right?
yeah.
And if you're
I'm not
doing
editing.
something that I view as difficult to market, I don't know how to help that much.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So, not saying it's a bad podcast. I'm just saying it's.
Yeah, well, you're on it.
Concept.
So
Well, it's going to be an uphill struggle. Hey.
For sure. We don't think that there's anything.
But can you name any art form that is unedited?
I mean, you can look at the Joe Rogan podcast.
I would argue that's heavily edited.
You think?
Yes, I mean it has structure to it as well.
You think it has structure?
Yeah.
Okay, talk to me about the structure of Joe
There's
Rogan.
advertisers, and there's definitely plans before they start to talk about certain things and to structure. And they're
Well, that's
also
producing. Yeah.
right. There's a large amount of production going in, and I'm sure it's edited.
Edited meaning taking the ums and uhs.
Yeah, taking breath out, taking moments that they don't want being put out.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, that's not a that's a hard rule for us. Is like we say something we don't want, we take it out.
But I mean like external editorial, like somebody who's making those decisions for them too.
Yeah, but I think that's obviously that's a money situation.
Sure, I mean he just got acquired for $900 million or some shit like that.
100 million.
100 million? Jesus.
Well, I mean, let's not mince words, Sean, right?
Yeah.
Part of our whole angle, as
Creators.
quixotic as it might be, is to sort of create an anti-podcast,
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
An anti-capitalist podcast. And when it comes to breath, we thought, the breath is going to be annoying, right?
Yeah.
Then we thought, okay, but the premise is we're on a hike. You can hear the footsteps. You
Sure.
can hear the breathing. It's like you're hearing these sounds that are normally left out. And perhaps they're left out for very good reason. But I wonder if there isn't a small space for not a massive audience, but for a niche audience that is interested in something that just sounds a little bit different. And is
I think it's Connor McFadden's his name. The bike show.
And he rides a bike?
Yeah, but he's this character that's very obnoxious and rude, and he has a bicycle that he rides around New York City. And
he yells at
says insane
people.
Shit.
Yeah. But that to me feels like a skit, and it's obviously there's an a video aspect to it.
Yeah.
But I think the appeal, and people have said this, is that it's soothing.
Sure.
You know, it's like, going on a journey with us. And I even mentioned this to Michael. Is like, you watch these like rough guide, and it's like, here we are in Cambodia, and then they cut to the next interesting thing, and cut to the next interesting thing, cut to the next interesting thing, and I don't feel like I've gone on a journey. I feel like I'm seeing a clip show about somebody's vacation.
Sure.
And so it's like it is. I get it. It's a different thing. You got a fucking National Geographic behind you to fucking make these decisions. National Geographic, if you want to sponsor us, you can take out all of the things you want.
It's also partly like thinking of it as a journal of sorts, right?
Yeah, of course. It's definitely a document.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's a little bit of what we're, let's say, the artistic impulse. And I get it. Like, I think but I'd also say there is editorial. We did just cut, you know?
Sure.
We do put music in. We do take out typically I don't even listen to what we say before I slate.
There's production value.
Yeah.
Design.
Yeah.
I still can't think of an art form that is heavily consumed where there's no editing involved.
Twitch streams.
I guess,
live streams.
I guess, expecting someone to jump around.
Yeah.
Isn't that implicit in a Twitch stream? Is that you're going to skip stuff?
No. I mean, if you're watching somebody's live Twitch.
I feel like a lot of YouTube and Twitch right now that I'm seeing, and partly it has to do with the changes in the monetization models, because a lot of content creators aren't able to get money from ad revenue on YouTube, they want donations, right?
Yeah.
And one of the ways they solicit donations is that people can ask them questions during their live stream.
Interactivity, yeah.
And there are different ways of approaching that. The streamers that I prefer tend to monologue, maybe bring up some articles, and then they have a section that's dedicated and now we will address what's going on in the chat, or now we'll address the donations. So that way the donations don't intrude upon the flow of the monologue.
I love that marble game they do on Twitch.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But yeah, those are very much, it's live, it's unedited. I mean, there's stuff going on in the streaming software so they can, have production value and bring stuff onto the screen. But in terms of there being cuts, there aren't cuts. It's just an hour and a half of this stream.
Yeah, that's true.
And then they publish it.
That's a good example.
Yeah, and I think obviously we were able to, that was on Monday, we were able to publish immediately after the hike. Yeah, and I'm sure there's a way of doing just a live stream of what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, in the long run, we want it to be done live, right?
Yeah.
But
they maybe have a headphone and we can hear questions from callers. But it's really, again, you're absolutely right. There is some production value. We are very low on editorial. I, though, like the podcasts that I like, tend to feel very low on editorial.
What podcast do you listen to?
I mean, I know Chapo is edited, but when they're out doing a live show, it feels like you're in the room. I mean, my favorite is the Daily Zeitgeist, which is it's not that heavily edited, but they do have segments. They have an opening segment. They go to a break. They have the main meat. They go to a break. Then they have a final wrap up section. But while they're in their segments, I hear the cuts when there are cuts. But I'd say maybe there's once or twice a week that there's cuts.
So this is all sagebrush. You know, it's a smell, change the smell.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is and then when it dries, it kind of bundles up into that gray kind of color.
You have to bundle it to make it, but yeah, it turns gray. Oh, that's white sage.
Well, no, but you can use this sage too.
Yeah.
But the white sage is, you basically get the fresh stuff, you dry it out before it's completely dry. You bundle it, and then the final drying is.
I don't know if that's sage.
No, I think it's this stuff right here.
It's a shorter
that's
little.
the sage. Okay.
These are sage brushes. Sage brush is really popular in California. It grows really easily.
And you can put it in your fire and make things taste sagey. So, what new cooking skill have you gotten?
I'm really good at ciabatta now, making really good ciabatta really quickly. I cook a lot of Chinese food, like takeout style Chinese food.
Nice.
Because there is no East Coast Chinese food on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So I can now make pretty authentic General Tso or orange chicken. Pretty much anything on a Chinese takeout menu now.
Now, are you cooking for your family?
Cooking for the whole family every day.
Nice.
I go to, there's a little farm called Malibu Fig Ranch that we pass on the way here.
Okay.
It's run by this woman, Carrie Claspy, who is the best sourcer of produce I've ever met in my entire life. Like, on any given day that you go to this, it's like a farm stand.
Okay.
You can find, I'd say, maybe a dozen heirloom varieties of various seasonal produce. and then maybe 30 items that are staple items that are local and organic.
What's the price range? It's a little pricey?
It depends on what you're getting.
Okay.
Like, you can get a lot of your produce at market price, right? Like, typical price. But if you're buying heirloom things, it can shoot up really fast. You need some shade?
No, I mean, I was going to carry him. But he'll catch up. He'll be fine.
I mean, it all depends on how you are on time. We could take a 5-minute rest if you want, or we can plow on through.
I'd rather keep walking.
Let's go.
Yeah, he'll be fine. Is it on the Malibu Fig Farm?
Malibu Fig Ranch, yeah.
Fig Ranch. Is it on the map?
It is, yeah.
Okay, good.
There's one here and one in Vegas. It's a restaurant supply company.
But now she's out.
No, she's always been providing stuff to people in Malibu. But it really depends on what you get there. I mean, you can pick up a thing and it's like this big and it's $50. That's a...
Oh, come here. Oh, come here.
Now, here's a thought for you.
Yeah.
One thing that the Twitch streamers and the live YouTubers do is they do their live stream, right? And people are in there and they're in the chat and it's interactive. And then they publish the whole thing after the fact so people can watch it if they didn't catch it live. But then what they also do is they cut out some of the juiciest segments and then they turn that into its own video content.
Yeah, they clip, right?
They clip and then they publish the juicy clips. And I feel like that could be something that we could do, because then we can find the sections where we perhaps talk about a very searchable topic, or just there's a very funny moment or a heartfelt moment or whatever, and we could package those perhaps into more little bite-sized digestible things, which could become the primary content itself, or it could serve as an advertisement for people who are like, I want more. And for the people who want more, they can get more and they can listen to all of it if they want that kind of thing. And then people can like engage on it on whichever level that they want. They can go for the whole ride, or they can just watch the best of.
For me, there's a difference between traditional media and fan-sourced media, right? So the Twitch streamers that are most successful with that, with clips, those clips are created by their fans.
Okay.
And they are blog spammed onto Reddit. And Reddit is where they usually take off. But you cannot do that with your own content. It will not work. Like, if you make a clip of what you think is interesting from your content and then share it, you are just a spammer. And
on Reddit, yes.
It's everywhere. The internet looks down on self-fandom.
Yeah, that's so annoying to me.
I think it's a necessary fact. You can present yourself in an edited medium, and you can self-aggrandize using channels that are available to mainstream content, or you can be a populist. But populists require people to care about them, and not them to care about themselves.
There you go.
I think those are just the simple facts of the internet.
There you go.
Because I've never seen a self-clip that did well. I've only seen clips from fans that do well.
Well, that's all the stuff that gets animated from Joe Rogan is somebody like, I want to animate that funny thing that Bert Kreischer said.
Right, exactly. Do we go back up and over, or do we go left?
Oh, we go left.
Okay. Well, we can go up and over.
Oh, yeah, let's go up and over. Because I want to point out, this was, I know it's not this, but this whole road, this whole little section here, feels like mud tracks of a... Huh?
Hey, guys. Good.
Feel like a mud track of a military vehicle going up here.
It looks like a spine to me.
Yeah, a spine for sure. But as we get closer, you'll see like, it's almost like, you see the section right here is like the mud in the middle that didn't get squished down.
I can see that.
But of course it's like hard rock, so...
No way. Yeah, there's no way anything about that is man-made.
Yeah. So, but it just gives me that feel. But also, like, it also feels like water ran over this. But I'm like,
definitely
going like,
hundreds of years of washout.
Yeah. So this was probably lower at some point, and fucking water was coming through. But unless there was a fucking Old Yeller? What do they call those things?
Although it does look like it was machined by a tool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It feels cut.
It could have been cut.
Yeah.
There's a lot of small rocks around here.
I would
You're
say
talking about
though,
a geyser, Sean?
Huh?
A geyser?
Geyser, yes. I don't see there's no geyser point here to make if this was. I mean, it could have been a geyser at some point because all these rocks have holes in them.
So wait, did you go to a hospital yesterday?
No. So 2 days ago, Dan was found in his room, unresponsive, in his own shit.
Oh my God.
And the assessment now, after getting him to the hospital, and they won't let us in, he's at St. Joseph's.
Okay, you didn't go near
No.
a bunch of people.
No.
Okay.
Was that, we've just been on the phone with him, was that he is experiencing multiple organ failure and either MORPs or ARDS, MORS or ARDS.
But it's not heroin?
No, it might be ketamine.
Oh, Jesus.
But ketamine doesn't have this kind of like immediate, I think it's the effects of alcohol.
So it's something, it's combination.
Yeah.
That's how most ODs occur nowadays.
Really? He's had years of fucking...
Well, just multiple exposure.
Ah.
Because he could be on Vicodin or he could be on some sort of like, Ativan. And you mix them all together and you get a really bad day.
Yeah.
More drugs, more different drugs. Put them all together. Go, go, go.
So I think what it was, my analysis of what was happening is that he has this overall damage to his body from years of abuse, primarily alcohol, and that we found a bag of ketamine in his room yesterday when we were cleaning it up.
How did you determine it was ketamine?
Well, so we got on the phone with the hospital and they said, oh, he's either got GHB or ketamine in his system.
Could be both.
But so...
How good is Dan at sourcing his own drugs?
I mean, he seems to have pretty good people, but...
Is this the right way, Sean? I remember last time I got
right here.
tripped up here.
It's right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not cool.
So I think what was happening is he was doing a deal for probably what was ketamine for somebody else. And I think he dipped in to do his own. And the effects of the ketamine triggered the organ failure of his alcoholism.
Ketamine I will only do in very small amounts if I touch it at all.
Yeah.
But it did result in learning how to play a new style of guitar.
Sure. I've heard that it's good for depression. It's good for sorting out a lot of like real bad kind of trauma.
Well, to me, I love Townes Van Zandt, right?
Mm-hmm. Is that his drug of choice?
Loved benzos.
Oh, yeah.
And his picking style is what I would call like Benzedrine finger style.
It's like kind of a sloppy, slurry kind of...
Real fucking weird, yeah. And it was killing me trying to play it. And I took some ketamine one day with somebody and sat down and played guitar and immediately figured out how to play this line that I've been, not able to figure out for a long time.
Well, your brain had been rehearsing it a long time too, and so whatever the ketamine did locked in your rehearsal mind plus your ability to actually do it.
Right. It was being shifted, I think, in a certain way that made it understandable.
Yeah.
It was language.
Yeah. No, I think that's one of the important parts of drugs, of plant medicines or not. I mean, everything kind of comes from a plant anyways, is that... that teaches us lessons. It allows us to speak different languages. It metaphorizes ideas in different ways in our brains.
As an overall PSA, though, I'd say ketamine nobody should do.
Okay.
I'd say it's not a good drug.
Okay.
Cocaine people shouldn't do either.
Especially
cocaine, given the implications of the way it's harvested. And
moved. For sure. It is. I mean, to me, number one is cigarettes. Number two is alcohol. Number three is cocaine, crack. Yeah. Number three is meth.
Right, all those drugs. I mean, LSD typically comes from a very enlightened source.
Yeah, and it's
mushrooms come from cool dudes.
Oh, sure. Oh, for sure. And I also think that let's say if you're getting the ergot and turning it into LSD, that kind of fungal plant source has lessons in itself prior to, the distillation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say the lesson of cocaine, if you're a fucking an Andean pygmy chewing on the coca leaves so that you don't experience high altitude pulmonary edema, that's the proper use for that medicine,
I knew a guy that was cleaning cocaine professionally, and that was a very odd experience, doing purified cocaine.
Oh, yeah.
But it was so not enjoyable. It's like not a very enjoyable drug. It's only status.
But I would say for sure. But I also think it's a key in a lock situation. I think some people have some, and again, your Wall Street fucking guy does not have a key in a lock situation. But I think for some people, the plant medicine of cocaine does help them. But it's a very rare, very small set of people.
I often view cocaine as a social tool more than as a drug.
Yeah.
It's status.
Yeah.
It says something, If you're in certain places and you have cocaine, it says something about what you're there to do.
Yeah.
And it says that you're not a certain thing.
Yeah.
But there's no point to that kind of culture.
No. Not anymore.
It's just, especially not now.
Not anymore. You don't want to fucking stick somebody's dirty cocaine up your fucking nose.
I just always figure LA especially, LA and Vegas maybe, they're places where you need to manipulate other people in order to keep their manipulations off of you.
Yeah?
I did cocaine in Vegas with a few friends. I've only done cocaine like 2 or 3, maybe like 3 times, small amounts. It never really did anything for me, but I remember they brought some out in Vegas and they were using $1 bills.
Yeah,
and I was like, this is, like, come on, at least like break out a fucking $5.
Or get a straw.
Get a straw.
Really should be 100.
Use
$1 bill.
You don't want a fucking
Cocaine.
one that's been in a fucking homeless person's butthole that he's been hiding from the cops.
Yeah.
So pretty gross stuff. And I've just never enjoyed. Well, I mean, I guess I enjoyed socializing with my friends well enough, and it may have. I don't even feel like it loosened me up, but in some ways, the conversation perhaps felt marginally more intimate with people that I didn't know very well. But it just didn't do anything for me, except give me an itchy nose that I didn't care for.
I always think it's more like chugging a bunch of coffee is the same concept.
Yeah. I mean, I told this story socially, but I'll tell it now. I started doing meth when I was 11 or 12.
Jesus.
Yeah. It was just around. I grew up in Southern California, Riverside, and the fucking Hells Angels were fucking 40 miles away. That was the late 70s, early 80s was the first wave of fucking really good crystal. Just like they figured out how to make fucking crystal methamphetamine. And so we got really good fucking drugs for a long time. And then crank started making it into the crank is a yellower, dirtier that a lot of people like as opposed to crystal, because crystal will just keep you awake. The crank fucking cranks you up. It fucking makes you feel all angsty and angry, and you're like, yeah, it gives you a real, like, kind of, you could fucking definitely fucking rebuild a fucking motorcycle in a fucking 4 hours on crank. But then cocaine came in the picture, and I tried it, and I was like, this is a fucking waste of money. I could fucking do a fucking 1-inch line of fucking crystal and be up for 2 days. I have to do basically an 8-ball with 2 other people in a night.
Well, you should have just gone straight to crack, Sean.
Well, eventually. I mean, I still will contend that crack saved my life because I couldn't drink alcohol and smoke crack at the same time because I couldn't get high enough from the crack if I was intoxicated on the alcohol.
See, crack's nowhere on my list of things to try.
Well, I kind of fell into it because I was living in that neighborhood in Venice. And it's just what the drug was in that neighborhood, and I like doing drugs.
Venice is always going to be a crack meth place.
Yeah, it's the beach, baby. The beach, the sun is all fucking crack and meth, baby. Fucking, you go to winter states to do heroin. Fucking New York is fucking opiate fucking central.
Well, you got to love how we just declared war on the pharmaceutical industry and then injected billions of dollars into the pharmaceutical industry.
That's what we do in the Middle East and fucking South America.
Right.
We're
Oh.
like, we're gonna fucking give you a bunch of money. No, we're gonna get in a fight with you.
This company's killing millions of Americans. Let's get rid of them. Oh wait, pandemic. Let's give them billions of dollars.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Record profits for health
Right.
insurance companies in a pandemic, and that is, of course, going to be the case because
Your money or
we
your
profit
life.
off of people being sick.
I love this guy. I've seen him. I've run into this guy out here before.
Oh,
He
with
has
all the
this
dogs?
Pack of dogs. Yeah.
Barney. Well, Barney's tired enough that he might be okay.
They're all off leash. They're all pretty.
Oh, good. So if they're off leash, that makes a huge difference in the whole dynamic.
They're very friendly.
Oh, good. Because it's like, what I say sometimes is like when Barney's off leash and the other dog is on leash, he gets in a fight with them to fucking liberate them. He's like, you should be. Okay.
Took a bunch of pictures of this guy last time I was here.
We should be okay. Yeah, Barney's all right.
Hey, look at him. He's just laying there.
Yeah.
And that guy's stalking Barney like a wolf.
Beautiful dog.
Yeah, he is.
All this guy's dogs are pretty cool.
Oh, Barney. Oh, look at that. You got a friend. You got a friend, Barney. You got a friend. Goliath. He is a Goliath, especially compared to Barney. Oh, Barney, hush.
I have cold water if you want to.
Oh, I got more water in there. Oh, you got cold water in the car? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Come on, Barney. Come on, bud.
I'm going to go home tonight and cook some bolognese and a ciabatta.
Now, do you give the menu to your parents in the morning?
I actually, this month, have been printing menus for them
Yes!
to choose from. Because it's easier than them asking me the day before what we're having. I just
Yeah.
let them choose.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going?
I love also the idea that you spent 4 years cooking for America. Oh, Barney. Barney, don't sneak over there. Barney, come here. Okay, come on. It's okay, buddy. I know it's okay. It's okay. It's okay, bud. It's okay, buddy. It's okay. You want to be in the pack? I know.
Hey, buddy.
I know. Yeah, I know you want to play with those guys. All right. So, do a little review. Talked about marketing.
Do either of you want a really big cold water?
Okay. Fuck yeah.
Do you want one? Giant water?
Sure.
It's cold. It's very cold.
We talked a lot about drugs, talked a lot about sex, or lack thereof.
Lack of both. There you go.
Talked about cooking. The classic COVID subjects, really.
Yeah.
Talked about a little bit about the DNC.
F the DNC. This is delightful, Nolan.
Good.
So fucking good to see you.
It was really nice to hang out.
Yeah.
Now I go back to my cave in Malibu.
I mean, if you're gonna have a cave,
So the first day that Trump came on TV and sounded coherent, I knew we were in trouble.
that's a very good prophetic thing. I think that you probably just gave him meth or beta blockers.
Well, they told him something that scared him.
What do you think?
What?
What
What
do
do I
you-
think they told him?
Yeah.
That he's an idiot. And
Oh.
that he fucked up the entire pandemic situation.
Oh, yeah.
He needed to tell everyone to go home.
Oh yeah.
Thank you very much for being our first guest.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
So yeah, subscribe to the Mindwalk podcast. Follow us on social media at Mindwalk Pod. Throw us a few bucks on Patreon. Tell a friend.
Subscribe to
family.
Nolan's.
Nolan, you got any shout outs you want to do for yourself?
Oh, can I do a final piece of wisdom?
You can do
Please.
Okay, go vote, speak out against fascism, and fuck Trump.
Yeah! Hashtag fuck Trump.
Yeah.
And one more. Mind walk!
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Cut.